Okay, guys, so here's the math message for lesson 7-5. Now, this is a multi-step division problem. So you need to make sure that you really are understanding what the problem is asking you so you can break down those steps. Because if you make one little mistake, it's going to mess up the whole entire problem. So really make sure when you're solving these, you're taking your time and you're understanding what it's asking you to do. So let's do this together. So it says Josh and his two friends, so that means there's 3 of them all together, own a lemonade stand. On a hot Saturday, they sold $171 worth of lemonade in 5 hours. They needed $36 to pay for supplies. If the boys, so I'm going to underline boys because they're asking all 3, split the remaining money evenly, how much money did Josh make per hour? So let's try to make sense of all the information that they just told us. We know that there's Josh and his 2 friends, so that's 3 people. They made $171 of lemonade in 5 hours. But that $171 is not all of their profit, which means they didn't get to keep all that money because they used $36 of it to pay for supplies. So what they want to know is, if the boys split the money evenly, how much did Josh make per hour? Not in total, per hour. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this would look like step by step, but written as one long number model. And the way I'm going to separate what you should do first is using parentheses and using different colors. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to figure out how much money did the boys make, right? So they made $171 altogether. But remember, they used $36 of that to pay for supplies. So you have to subtract that. And I'm going to put a parentheses around it. That's the first step. Step number 1 is to figure out how much money the boys made all together after they bought their supplies. So the next thing you're going to do, step number 2, is figure out how much did they make per hour, right? Because remember, they want to know how much Josh made per hour. And we know that they had 5 hours of their lemonade stand. So I'm going to do another bigger parentheses here and divide whatever that total is by 5 for the 5 hours. This is step number 2. And maybe I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So the third and final step is to figure out, they don't want to know how much the boys made together. They only care about how much Josh made. So you have to divide this total by 3 to figure out how much did each boy make. Okay, so we're going to go step by step, nice and slow. I also suggest you guys get a big piece of white paper when you guys are doing this. So you can do the problem on one side and then use one side for scrap paper to show your work. So I'm going to change my pen back to pink because I'm going to do step number 1, which is 171 minus 36. So the total money they made, subtracting how much they spent. So we know we can't take 1 from 6, so we have to make this 11 because we borrowed 10 from the tens place. Oh, sorry, I think my neighbor just dropped something. 11 minus 6 is 5. 6 minus 3 is 3. And then you just bring the 1 down. So now I figured out that in total, after they paid for their supplies, altogether the boys made $135. So then we have to take that much money and we're going to divide it by 5, how many hours they worked, to figure out how much they made per hour. And then you're going to take that and you're going to divide it by 3, but we're not there yet. So now we're going to do the next set of parentheses, which is 135 divided by 5 to figure out how much they made per hour. So I'm going to do 5 divided by 135. And I'm going to do partial quotient division. So what is a multiple of 5 that's close to 135? Well, I know that 5 times 20 is 100. So I'm going to subtract, and I'm left with 35. Now, I know that 35 is a multiple of 5, because 5 times 7 is 35. So there's no remainder. So in the 5 hours, every hour that the lemonade stand was open, the boys, all 3 of them together, made $27 per hour. So we just finished with step number 2. Now we have to do step number 3. Now they don't ask how much did the boys make all together. We want to know how much Josh made. So we would have to take 27, which is what the boys made all together, and divide it by 3 to figure out how much Josh made. So if I did 3 divided by 27, you know that 27 is a multiple of 3 because 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm left with $9. So Josh made $9 every hour the lemonade stand was open. Okay, as you can see, guys, if you are struggling still with your multiplication facts, it's something that you really need to take this time while you're home to practice. They're not going to get better unless you continue to practice them, because then you'll memorize them. So if you're still struggling with those multiplication facts, now is a perfect time to kind of refresh and review them, and it'll make the multi-step division that much easier for you.